Hello there. The Basilisk, a creature from mythology with a petrifying stare. Sort of fitting for the vessel which we're about to discuss. Before we get into it, like, share, subscribe, comment down below about the Basilisk. One of the most powerful ships ever produced in the Andromeda universe, luckily produced in a vacuum, but nonetheless a threat to all the capital ships produced by any of the major powers in the entire galaxy. This single vessel had enough firepower to literally destroy a planet. And I can't think of much that's more terrifying than that. This particular vessel was built by a human civilization who, during the long night, had developed something of a phobia of artificial intelligence technology, resulting in a complete ban in any form of AI system, whether that be androids or just artificial intelligence computers. They had a real problem with it. They also seemed to have a problem with their neighboring system, the planet of Mobius. This world was Mashen Alpha. These people, though human, the humans of this universe, not exactly a united faction. They struck an alliance with the enemy species known as the Magog, in exchange for being given Magog technology to help build more advanced weapons. They would basically stand aside and not really interfere with the Magog's plans. Seems like a great deal, but we do know from structurally the Magog can't be trusted. Realistically, this was a proxy war being waged by the Magog, wanting the races local to that airspace to destroy each other. They're propping one race up to allow it to annihilate the others, and annihilate them it did. The Basilisk, built with reverse engineered Magog technology, was equipped with 3 point singularity projectors. These particular weapons were a type of, basically they were a weapon that fired a black hole at you. It's more complicated than that, but that's basically what it was doing. It sent this heavy mass packet at you. No amount of armor or defenses could protect you from it. In fact, these were the only weapons capable of inflicting the kind of damage seen that this vessel was able to inflict, i.e. destroying an entire world. The vessel was unleashed on a planet that was controlled by artificial intelligence machines, and it laid waste to the world, not stopping until it had literally broken the planet apart. It then was to be deployed against the planet of Mobius, another world that the locals didn't like very much. Luckily, the glorious Heritage class Andromeda Ascendant, under the command of Captain Dylan Hunt, was able to intercept and destroy the vessel when they learned of its existence and its plans to deploy its horrific weapons of mass destruction once again. It should be noted that this vessel, toe-to-toe, should have been a far greater match for a ship like the Andromeda, or even a Pyrrhian Torch ship, or even a Siege Perilous class warcruiser. These vessels were literally, or this vessel was literally the most powerful, biggest, baddest thing on the block in the area. It was slipstream capable and had other defensive capabilities beyond its point singularity projectors. Both its propulsion matrix and main armaments were based on Magog technology, but the inexperience of the crew and the experience and tactical nous of Hunt and his crew won the day. So there is something to be said for experience over brawn and brute force. However, perhaps with a more experienced crew, a more competent captain, and hopefully a more rational human being in command of the ship, maybe it could have been a force for good. But considering the namesake from which this vessel was built, the Magog being the Magog, I don't see there was ever any good coming from a vessel designed to literally break apart a planet. In terms of the vessel's construction, it was built more like a mobile weapons platform. Point singularity cannons need a lot of power, and this thing carrying 3 of them, it would have required huge reactors. More like a planetary defense system with an engine than a starship, it was a monstrously large and powerful ship, which the galaxy is better off without, and luckily their ability to produce another one was shut down. But, once invented, the genie's out of the bottle. Although built with reverse engineered Magog technology, it was still a human built vessel and human crewed, and suffered from the weaknesses of those crews, which is the vessel's main undoing. As I said, the ship was a powerhouse of technology and firepower, and was a truly magnificent weapon to behold and fear. However, no matter the firepower, nothing is indestructible. As I said, this vessel was destroyed. But let's circle back to the main armaments, the thing that really made this ship scary in the first place. Those point singularity projectors. In the simplified terms, and I mean simplified because I'm no physicist, to destroy a planet is a lot harder than science fiction would have you believe. A weapon like the Death Star, for example, would have to put out more energy than the sun puts out in a week to have enough power to destroy Earth. And it would have to store and be able to safely discharge that energy in order to be able to do it. What you need to do is annihilate the matter of the planet in order to break it apart. What you're trying to overcome when breaking a planet apart, for example, when they say a nuclear bomb would destroy the world, that's a massive over-exaggeration. A nuclear bomb, no matter how powerful, no matter how destructive, could never destroy the world. It could end all life on the world. You could kill everything on the surface and everything in the oceans. Yes, you could cause an extinction level event, but you couldn't destroy the planet, and here's why. Because everything in space exerts a gravitational attraction to everything else. If you leave two dice spinning in space, they'll slowly rotate around each other and eventually touch. Because everything, you, your house, your car, everything exerts a gravitational field. That may sound ridiculous, but you take your car into space and you put it in the middle of a field of little dice, it's the biggest, baddest thing around. They'll all be attracted to it. That's basically how it works. So if you hit a planet with a really big bomb or a big energy weapon, and you blow off a chunk of it, yeah, you'll get bits of it with enough power and projection to fly away. But the majority of it will just settle back down to the planet because the planet is still there. The gravity well is still there. You have to hit it with enough force to completely counter the effects of the gravity well upon which the planet is held together. More energy basically exerted on it than it is taking to hold it together. And that is a literal cosmological amount of power. And that puts in perspective just how strong a weapon like a point singularity weapon is, because you've got to go on a bit of suspension of disbelief and not overthink it, that this thing can do that. But it is in and of itself a gravity-based weapon. Remember, this is a black hole. It's not a super dense, super massive black hole, but what it is like a shaving of the material, say, of a black hole, hitting the planet, and it will just annihilate it. There's nothing to say that the planet torn apart isn't all going to stay where it is and just collapse back down on itself. Andromeda was always quite good with the physics on this to a degree, but the planet could still be destroyed. It could still be torn apart, broken up, just be a rolling ball of magma and gases and rock spinning in space by this point. But these kinds of weapons have that kind of destructive potential, and it is better off that we don't have it. But the ship itself, beautiful work of art, wonderful piece of engineering, would have been a great asset to the system's Commonwealth in their fight against the Magog if only the idiots that had built the damn thing had recognized the real threat was not the AIs on their neighboring system, but the people who helped them build the damn ship in the first place. But what did everyone think at home? Did you remember this ship appearing in Andromeda? It's fairly early on in Season 2. It was a powerful vessel that struck fear into the enemies of the Commonwealth and of the people who built this ship. Its misuse unfortunately led to its own destruction, but that might be for the best. I'd just like to say a thank you to everyone for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoy making these. If you did enjoy it, please consider giving a like, share and a subscribe, and maybe checking out the other videos on the screen right now, and in the description box below there are links to my other social media accounts.